Good day, everybody. And here we are winding down, entering week 7 of the class. So this week we're going to have 3 assignments essentially. You're going to have, in addition to all your preparatory work to include your reading from the textbook and your lab work, you'll be doing your 7th quiz of the semester and your 7th forum of the semester. And of course, all the rules apply for both those assignments as you've been doing over the last several weeks. But this week you have your presentation due, which is essentially the last major component of the course project. And a couple things I want to clarify on that, just so you are fully prepared to submit your final product by this Sunday due date. When it comes to the presentation, remember you should be submitting that in either a Prezi format or screencast-o-matic format, of which you chose during the first week. If you have any issues dealing with those programs, email me early on so I can help walk you through it. Otherwise, when you do your presentation, remember I'm going to be getting these Sunday and grading them for you, and then next week during week 8 of the course, you're going to submit them to your 8th week's discussion forum to share with the rest of your class. So essentially, you're not just presenting these presentations to me, but you are to the entirety of your classmates. And the really cool thing about this is that by doing that, we're going to get to see a lot of different styles about how everybody's gone about doing their presentations. But most importantly, you're going to get to see a world of biodiversity that exists, as many of you reside all over the world, all over the US and other countries, and you're choosing organisms that are indigenous to your particular area. So this is truly going to give you a good opportunity to view the diversity that exists in the biology throughout our world by seeing all these different organisms from varying areas of the globe. So that's really exciting about this project, and one thing that is my favorite particular aspect about it. So keep in mind your audience. It's not just me, but it's going to be your fellow classmates. So when you put your presentation together, and mind you, all of the details are listed in both the assignments tab under presentation, and that was extrapolated from the actual course project guide that you have had access to the entire semester. So all of this is redundant and can be found in detail under the assignments link and also in the course project guide. But when you put together this project, this presentation aspect of the project, make sure that you use as many photos as you can, preferably ones that you took during your observations over the course of this semester, but also use stock photos from the internet if you so desire, especially if you couldn't capture all the behaviors. The more you can show along with the written work of your presentation, the more you'll interest your viewers. So keep that in mind. But if you do use stock photos taken from the internet, again, make sure that you cite that photo or video, if you use videos, on the slide itself, and then at the very end of your presentation you should have reference slides to indicate any of the resources you used, not just for your images and videos but also your written content. So keep those in mind. And there's some links in the course project guide and under the assignments tab for the presentation that will help you in formatting your APA citations for photos and videos. Keep that in mind as well. Okay, so the information that you should be including in the actual presentation is going to vary slightly from that which you put into your organism profile, as I've stated before. So you should start off introducing your species in the first slide or two, incorporating some photos. Preferably have one of you in there, whether it's with your actual organism or in the vicinity of where you did your observations. And that just makes it that much more special and individualized to you. And it's nice to put a face with a name, so I like to see you guys in there as well. But make sure that you introduce your species, stating both its common and scientific names, where you particularly were observing this organism, where you live, in other words, and any specifics about the general introduction or background information you find is particularly interesting to get going with your presentation. Then you should elaborate on things such as the organism's energy or foraging ecology. How is it acquiring its energy and food? What types of food or energy is it acquiring? How often does it feed, for instance? And again, it's great to incorporate pictures that are applicable to the foraging and energy ecology on those slides as well to actually show your viewers what you're talking about. Also, make sure you incorporate in there the reproductive ecology. How do the organisms reproduce? Are there any particular mating rituals? Is there anything unique about the way that they reproduce, their reproductive organs, etc.? And also habitat, explain where they live, explain the climate, the general surroundings, the biome classification, etc. And lastly, you want to end with any particular behaviors, interactions, or I'm losing my mind at times, so bear with me. And responses to its environment. So essentially, how is your organism interacting with other organisms in the environment? How is it responding to others within its own species in its environment? Is it having any particular behavioral patterns that are unique to that species? For instance, with bats, they have something called echolocation that's unique to that particular species. So try to find some things that are fun, unique, and that you want to share with your classmates and with me about that organism, so we can get a good, wide, broad view scope of what your organism is all about. And of course, you'll wrap that up with, like I said earlier, a reference slide or two listing all the references you used for your presentation material, from photos, videos, and written content. And lastly, make sure that you do check out all the extra information that I have listed as far as resources go. That'll help you with it. Make sure that your slides are a minimum of 10. The more you put into it, the more successful the presentation will be, and hence the better your grade will be. So try to grasp your viewers' attention, be as thorough as possible, as interesting as possible, and make sure that you proofread all of your slides for any grammar, punctuation, or spelling errors. You don't want to distract your viewers from a really great presentation with silly typos along the way. So just make sure you go back over it, proofread it. Even better, have a friend or family member look over it so they can maybe catch something that you hadn't along the way. And that's about all I have for now. I'm really excited. I love the presentations. They're a lot of fun for me to watch and grade, and then I'll be excited to see you guys share them with each other next week during the last week of the course. So if you have any questions, any clarification, any points, reach out to me. Especially try to have that to me by Friday, so if I need to help review anything, I have plenty of time to get back to you and you to make any corrections as necessary by the Sunday due date. So have a fabulous week, and we will talk again in approximately another week.